Hello, everybody.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Oh, it's so nice when people say hello back. It proves I'm not just in my kitchen talking to myself. Hello and welcome so much to our cooking class today. We're so excited to be able to present you another one. We're sorry that it was pulled together because you can't be anywhere else, but hey, where would you rather be? And I had planned to say in this weather, but the sun just came out. So we had about 110 people register. We've got almost 80 on at the moment. So some of the others might be having a quick walk in the sun before the rain comes. So today's menu has been put together by the gorgeous ladies presenting. And the way we do it, particularly at this, in this environment, is what were you guys going to make for dinner, or what's something that you would like to make or you want to try? Because we don't want to be making things our family aren't going to eat. But, having said that, this is such an amazing business now because 3 of these ladies are now cooking dinner for their family tonight. So how good is that? So they're working and cooking for the family at the same time. So on that, we have an amazing opportunity with Thermomix. Last year, our consultant levels really rose because there's a lot of people who couldn't be working, sort of hairdressers and cosmetic nurses and event planners and all those people who have a real passion about being around people and networking and mixing with people who weren't able to do that in that environment, but could do it in our environment, just like this. So regardless of what the COVID rules are, whether we can be in home or on Zoom, we have the choice and your customers have the choice. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, hang on at the end and I would love to talk about that. So I'll just share with you quickly because I did notice that there are a lot of Team 6 owners on here today, but there are a few people who don't own a Thermomix yet. I say yet a bit cheekily because our goal in at Thermomix is a Thermomix at the heart of every kitchen, and I have absolutely no doubt that we will achieve that in the coming years, but we're still a long way off, which is why there is still so much opportunity with our business. The TM6, for those who don't know, is 2359. We do offer some different payment options, so you can pay a single payment on a credit card. You can make 3 payments over 3 months on a credit card, and for a limited time, we have 36 months interest free, which works out to be $16.80 per week. So for less than a coffee a day, you can have a Thermomix on your bench and be producing a lot of amazing recipes. Our normal interest-free offer is 24 months. So from the 12th of August, it will go back to that. But one of the most popular ways to get a Thermomix at the moment is to earn your Thermomix. So again, that would be join the team, make a deposit, get your Thermomix on your bench, do a couple of training sessions on Zoom, and then start spreading the love. So what a lot of people find when they first get a Thermomix is that they're telling everyone how amazing it is anyway, and then their friends are buying on their recommendations. So you might as well be a consultant and let that be your own business rather than giving it to somebody else. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is flick you around to my Thermomix, the guest of honour. So here it is for those who may not have seen it before. Now, if you have a TM31 or a TM5, the language of the TM6 is still the same. So cooking with a Thermomix, the language is time, temperature, speed. So we have time, temperature, speed. For those who've got a TM6 already, you can actually skip through the dials by pressing the button as well, rather than pressing the screen. You've got the choice there. And whichever one is large is the one that you're adjusting with the dial. So what this means is that there's different ways you can cook in your Thermomix. You can cook manually. So if you're someone who's got a lot of recipes that you want to use your own favorite recipes, or you like to make up your own recipes, you can certainly do that. With the TM6, the thing that people are very excited about, and this is where people who like to cook manually get worried because they think they only have to follow a recipe, is that we have this amazing recipe platform called Cookidoo. So Cookidoo, in the simplest of explanations, is Netflix for recipes. So you can jump in here. It says, hello, Michelle, what would you like to cook today? I can type anything in there. So if I wanted to make a risotto, I could type risotto and all the different risottos would come up. If I wanted to make a curry, I could type curry. But if I can also type in what ingredient I might have in my fridge. I could just scroll through and see what dishes are being recommended to me as well and what new things have been added. Because on that video you just listened to, I think it said over 40,000. I can now tell you we're actually almost at 70,000 global recipes. So with your Cookidoo subscription, you actually have access to the full global platform, which is incredible. You are spoilt for choice as far as recipe goes. About almost 10,000 of those are in English, just to give you a little bit of an idea. Although we do have lots of creative people who like to go in and look at a recipe in a different language, and using Google Translate will also just cook things from different countries just as things to do. And obviously when we're in COVID,
you know, rather than sugar soaping the walls and all those boring things, how about we, you know, learn a language and cook in French or cook in Italian? So if I swipe my screen the other way, this is the third way that we can cook with the TM6, is all these different modes. Now, one of the dishes today is a slow cook dish, and we often get asked about slow cook. And of course, slow cook is a bit hard to show in a 90-minute class. However, we've been very clever today, and one of the girls has put it on early this morning, so it's going to be ready to show you. And one of the other girls is going to put the dish on now for her, probably for their dinner tomorrow, because it won't be ready till about 9 o'clock tonight, just to show you how simple it is and that whole thing of putting it on and walking away. So there's lots of different ones in here. One of the other modes that you're going to see today is sugar mode, which is another TM6 specific mode. So very exciting. Now my dish today, as you can see here, sticky toffee puddings. Now, one of the things that we talked about when putting these classes together now is to show you the things that are going to add value. So me mixing the pudding mixture, anyone who knows Thermomix, even if you don't have one, you're probably aware that, you know, at very least, it's a great mixer. So I've thrown in my eggs and dates and flour and butter and mixed that up already. And I just wanted to show you what that looks like, because I'm going to now steam those for 30 minutes while everything else is going on. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to just tilt my camera down so you can see what I've done here. So here's my mixture, and I've popped it in these silicone trays, which you can get on our mix shop. So have a look. Our mix shop has got an amazing collection of accessories to use with your Thermomix. Now we've got this round one, so it sits in the base of the aroma, and then the flat one, so it sits in the tray. Now the little tip when you're steaming puddings is to then pop the paper towel there, so the condensation is caught in the paper towel and doesn't go down and drip into your puddings. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top here. Pop this one on the top. And that's just going to sit on the top of my Varome, on the top of my Thermomix rather. This is the Varome. I'm just going to show you how simple that is. Popping that up there. And that's actually just going to steam for 30 minutes. Now, if you're wondering how I know that, I don't know that. It's in the recipe. I'm just going to press the button and press go. But I will come back later and show you the toffee sauce, because one of the things we talk about with recipes is sometimes you might not make a whole recipe, you might make a bit of a recipe. So if you ever just want to make some toffee sauce to pour over ice cream or anything like that, it's a lovely thing to do. So I'll be showing you that a little bit later on, but in the meantime, we're going to shoot over to the gorgeous Julie, who is going to make her family's dinner and show you what they're having. See you soon. Julie, spotlight to gorgeous Julie. There we go.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie, and today I'm going to be presenting the meatballs with tomato sauce. So this is a bit of my lazy dish, and when people hear meatballs as a lazy dish, I'll show you the reason why it's my lazy dish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you straight to my screen. Okay, put you down here and just show you just how easy it is. Okay, so first of all, I've already bookmarked my recipe. So it's meatballs with tomato sauce. I'll click on start cooking, and it'll ask me to place a small bowl, okay, on right here. I'm just going to use a plate, so bowl, plate, it's quite similar. I'll take you a bit back up here just so you can see. Next, and then it'll just ask me to place a piece of bread. It does say 40 gram, but I mean, we're not going to measure a piece of bread, so 35 gram is close enough, okay? And then after that, it'll actually ask me to pour 40 grams of milk. Again, I'm not actually measuring. I'm just going to pour it over the bread. And the whole purpose of this, I'm going to show you a bit closer, is just basically so we kind of soak in the bread with the milk. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like using words, but just to make it nice and moist. Okay. So I'll click on next, and it'll just ask me to place this aside. So we'll be using this in our meatball mixture soon. So I'll put that aside. Next, okay, 6 to 12 sprigs of flat leaf parsley. Now, it says leaves only, but I mean, I don't like really wasting the stem. It tastes good, so I just throw the whole lot in. I don't bother just doing leaves only. Next, and 1 clove of garlic. I'm one of those that don't actually listen to the recipe, so I'll place 2. Okay, Next, and then insert our measuring cup and pop that there. Okay, so click next here. And for 5 seconds, I'm going to turn the speed selector on 7. So that's actually going to cut all my herbs and garlic together. Now, as you might have heard, like when it got to about 3 seconds, you probably already could hear that the blades have actually flicked all my herbs on the side. And look what that did in, I would say, 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is scrape down the sides. Okay, so scrape down the sides. I don't know about you, but you might have some pretty good knife skills if you can chop that in 5 seconds. Okay, so pop that here, and then it's going to ask me to put the beef in. I'll grab my beef. Okay, and I actually normally buy just a packet of beef that's 500 grams. It says 400, but I mean, who's going to keep 100 grams of the beef separately? Sorry, my kids are actually in the same room as me, so I can't actually keep them quiet. So pop that beef, so that's 500 grams. Okay. Next, 2 eggs. So what the eggs actually does is it basically just binds your meatballs together. So pop that in here. Okay. And half a teaspoon of salt. Now, this is when you can either use half a teaspoon of salt, or what we like to do is we call it our, you know, our magic.
Our liquid gold, Julie. It's our liquid
gold. Oh my goodness, I'm so distracted by my kids. I'm like thinking, what is it called? Our liquid gold. Thank you, Michelle. Now, it says half a teaspoon of salt, but I normally replace it with our veggie stock, okay? So I just pop that there instead. Thanks, Michelle. This is why we have good teamwork here, don't we?
Oh, totally. But that's also just proof that this business is very fluid. We're real lives, real families, real kitchens. And
Right.
I did share with everybody that 25 minutes before we were due to start that my family asked me what was for lunch, and I sent them down the bakery to buy themselves a pie because I wasn't going to.
That's right. I know. I mean, I can mute the TV, but I can't really mute my kids. So I've tried, it doesn't work. Now, what's going to do is squeeze the milk out of the bread and discard the milk. I don't squeeze it. I kind of just rip it in, say, about quarters. That's normally enough. Just wipe my hands quickly. Next. Okay, so I've added the soaked bread. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert the measuring bowl and lid. And for 10 seconds, I'm just going to blend all my mixture together.
How great is it to make meatballs without actually touching the meat? It's one of the things that I love about that, because kids love meatballs as a meal, but most mums don't like having their hands in mincemeat all the time.
That's right. So here we go. That's just what it's done in 10 seconds. So as you can imagine, that's actually our meatball mix. So if you wanted to, you have the choice of, you know, adding carrots. You can always grate some carrots. I mean, you're not restricted. This is guided cooking, but we don't have to always follow the rules. Okay, so I'll pop that here. Okay, scrape that all here. Now I'm going to click on next, and now it's going to ask us to clean and dry the mixing bowl. So I don't know about you, but I actually never clean my bowl because we're actually going to make the sauce. So it seems a little bit silly for us to clean the bowl when we're basically using the same mixture. So next, lightly grease our Varoma dish and tray. So this is the Varoma, so I'll bring this back. So just like Michelle, she's steaming her toffee, which I'm quite jealous of, but I'm actually going to be making meatballs. So that's pretty exciting too. I don't have to cook dinner tonight. So click on next. And the good thing about some of these guided recipe now is they actually have some of them a little video on what to do. So I guess with oiled hands, shape small meatballs and divide them between a Varoma tray. So if we click on play, it will actually show us how to do this. Now, this is a great activity to do with the kids. So they like to get their hands dirty. Otherwise, I'll show you another way that we can do it as well later. So I'm sure everyone is quite time poor. So what I'm going to do is I'm click close. And if we click on next, it's asked me to set the room aside, assuming I've done my meatballs, but I'm actually going to do that while we start cooking our sauce. So it's going to ask 1 garlic clove. I'm going to put 2. Okay, brown onion cut in half. So we don't, as you can see, we don't really need to prepare like a lot. Next, okay, virgin oil. I don't really measure. I give a kind of a bit of a twirl, and then actually went a bit over, but that's okay. Next, okay, now insert measuring cup and the lid. Next, and for 5 seconds, I'll show you how easy it is to chop onions. Okay, now click on next. Now I'm actually going to just show you quickly before I keep this in. Look at that. That's done that in 5 seconds. And the reason why it pops, you know, it mixes the oil and the onions all together is because it kind of, I guess, oils your whole bowl. So when you're sauteing, nothing gets stuck on the bowl. So nice and easy. So I'm just going to pop that here. Next, and for 3 minutes at 120 degrees at speed 1, that's actually going to saute my onions. And while it's doing that, I'm actually going to show you how I like to prepare my meatballs. Okay, so what I do is I get the bottom tray here. I might lift this a little bit higher, hopefully. Is that a bit better, hopefully?
Yeah,
And
we
then,
can see your aroma and your meat.
pardon?
We
Is
can
that
see
a bit better?
your aroma, that's perfect.
There we go. Now, we love our cookie scooper or ice cream scooper, whatever you want to call it. And if you don't like to get your hands dirty and you're in a hurry, look how easy this is. You just go like that and bang, we have 1 meatball. So you can imagine this is actually really quick. Now, I mean, if you really wanted to, you can then oil your hands and go over them again. But I mean, if you want, I've actually never tried this, but I'm sure if you don't have ice cream scooper, you probably, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, probably also roll it together as well. And rustic, it's nice and rustic there though.
That's perfect, Julie.
I think that's not too bad. That's actually the first time I tried it. I actually didn't really quite know how that was going to turn out, but you know, we like to try things for the first time in front of the camera, don't we?
We do. And you know, I remember the first time I did this, I then did oil my hands and make them all neat. And then I sort of went, why did I do that? I'm about to cover them in sauce when they're cooked. So you can really choose. If you want them to be perfectly round and pretty, you can, but they actually cook and taste just as amazing like that, as you say, the rustic cook.
And I mean, the thing I love about this dish is normally once I get the meatball out, like, I mean, right now it's sauteing my onions, but after that, I'm going to pour all my sauce and everything in there, and it's going to cook my sauce while steaming my meatballs. And then I've got about 20 minutes to spare. So normally that's my 20 minutes of rushing the kids to have a quick shower, or, you know, setting the table up, or, you know, preparing anything. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could probably, I don't know, do a quick workout in 20 minutes.
I always laugh in summer, that's my time to run out to the clothesline and bring the washing in.
Exactly. See, it's all about our time management. And as you probably might have noticed, is I've kind of spread them out a little bit, and also, you know, so that it allows the hot air, the heat, to actually escape through. So you think instead of actually doing those meatballs first, by the time I've actually done this, I mean, I've got 20 seconds left now for my onions that's nearly sauteed and everything. So this lid also is fantastic, that after you're finished cooking your meatballs, you'll find that obviously the steam drips a lot. This is like my catch tray. So I normally flip it upside down and then place the meatballs here. And then you're not getting like water dripping everywhere. So, oh, I didn't think that's already 3 minutes. How did that go by quick? So once we go here, if we click next, it asks us to put in 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. Now, if you don't have crushed tomatoes and, you know, tomatoes in season, you can actually just, you know, quickly blend your own fresh tomatoes as well. And that also tastes delicious. But I've actually got 2 cans of crushed tomatoes today. Okay, so I'll pop that in. And this is a very nice, simple tomato sauce, but no one said you can't spice it up a little bit, you know, maybe blend some capsicum, carrot, and everything. So this time I remember my liquid gold. It's actually asking for 1 teaspoon of salt, but I'm going to add a teaspoon of my liquid gold. Now, when I do make my vegetable stock, I normally wait for, you know, I've got any sad vegetables that I've left on the corner of, you know, the fridge and everything. And I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So I use that to make my stock. And honestly, if you use the stock, it makes the meatballs taste so much better. It takes it to a new level. So now what it does is ask me to put the aroma. I personally like to normally just add a couple of teaspoons of sugar just to take a little bit of that tang from the canned tomatoes. So it's guided cooking, but it doesn't mean that you have to follow it to a T. So you can actually, you know, you can actually change it.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go.
You get my mind.
There we go. So pop that up there. Pop my lid. Next. And then that's basically going to cook my meatballs. And in like pretty much 20 minutes, I have dinner ready if I were to do this for dinner. So I would keep mine in my Varoma, my Thermoserver tonight, and that's going to keep it hot so I don't have to prepare dinner tonight.
Well done. Thank you so much, Julie. We'll see you when your meatballs are cooked, and we're going to go over to the gorgeous Milan. Hi, Milan.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are going to make caramel toffees today. They are absolutely gorgeous and so yummy and so quick to make. We are going to be using the sugar mode today, so let me show you how we're going to do it. I have chosen this is from my week. I have chosen the caramel toffees. So we will start cooking. It says to guarantee the success of the recipe, because it's a sugar mode, all the ingredients need to be exact match. You cannot go 5 mils here or there. Though all other recipes you can, but this particular one, because it's a sugar mode, it has to be just perfect. So I have done where I have actually put a little less or a little more, and one time I double the recipe. And for this particular one with the sugar mode, we never do that. We always stick to the same. Okay, let's get started. Line a baking tray 17 centimeters with baking paper. So this is what I've done. I tend to put these little pegs there because when you're pouring it, otherwise this is always flapping away. So we line it like so. Once we have done that, we will start with 315 grams of white sugar, which I normally don't cook with, but for this recipe, there is an exception. Okay.
This is definitely one that we call a treat food, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh man.
With all those goodies.
Remember, Michelle, you and I made it with the cook-along when we first got my Thermi?
I know. We made all the naughty things when we first got the TM6, honeycomb and toffee.
That's right. Okay, the next we're going to put in there is water, which is 30 grams of water. So I have got 30 grams of water in there. Come on, 29. And we're just going to get one more drop, guys. Okay. Next, 250 grams of cream, which is this. I'm going to use my hands because my hands are already got cream everywhere on it.
All right, we wash our hands 100 times a day, don't we, when we're in the
Yes, but I figured that because my hands are already dirty, I might as well do the Indian thing and just use it. Oh, good. Okay, next we put 80 grams of butter. Let me just wash my hands quickly.
And it's going to get cooked so hot, it wouldn't matter if your hands weren't 100% clean.
True. 80 grams of butter cut in cubes. I cut them about that small. So if I had to show you one, it's about that small. So it's about 80 grams of butter. Now, this little secret to this is it should be chilled, not room temperature. So whenever you're making that, and it says very clearly cold and chilled. Okay, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. So I squeezed some lemon juice this morning, and I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which is so. Okay. Next is natural vanilla. This is a beautiful vanilla. It's an organic one. You can get it at Costco, and it's really, really, really cheap at Costco. So worth using this one, guys. So it says about 1 or 2 teaspoons. I'll just put about 2 squeezes of it. Okay, next is going to be splash guard. Now what happens is when we do the sugar work, normally you put one of these guys on, right? Just to close the lid. But this particular time, we're going to put the lid, which is so. Then we put the splash guard, because with the sugar work, a lot of sugar is actually going to go, you know, splashing everywhere. And this actually protects it. And it actually stays in there, and it's obviously a splash guard, and it will protect your hands. And I have burnt my hands doing this kind of a recipe on the stove. So this is absolutely a godsend for me. And all we're going to do now is actually done. And for 25 minutes, we are going to cook it on the sugar mode. There's the sugar mode. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start it off, but we can go to the next person now, and we're going to come back in 25 minutes. And I'll let you know, Julie, when I'm about 1 or 2 minutes close to it, because it has to be poured in straight away.
Thanks
So
so much.
over and out to the next person.
Perfect. All right. Where is the lovely Susie? There she is. Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, everybody. My name is Susie, and welcome to my kitchen. Today, I'm cooking the quick Thai chicken curry, which is actually a dish I've never cooked before. I've done the one in the basic cookbook, but for demonstration purposes, I decided I'd give this one a go, and it's got actually really good ratings as well on Cookidoo. So I'm looking forward to, and especially my husband, who particularly loves Thai food, he's really looking forward to trying this a little bit later. So I'll just get started. So the first step, adding garlic clove and an onion. So this is very similar to what Julie did. Just going to pop in I've actually put in 2 garlic cloves for a little bit of extra flavor. 50 to 100 grams of onions to taste. I just added in a small onion and halved it. A teaspoon of salt to taste. I'm actually not going to put salt in. And 30 grams of oil. So you can use any oil you like. I'm going to use this peanut oil today. So if you've got any nut allergies, obviously you can use a different oil. 30 grams or just a little bit over, but that doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to pop the lid on, and just 3 seconds at speed 5. And that'll pop up the onion, the garlic. And then the next step is add in 50 to 100 grams of Thai red curry paste. So this curry paste I actually made last night, made from scratch. The recipe is in the basic cookbook. It's also in the TM6 cookbook, or TM5 as well, the basic cookbook, or you'll also find it on Cookidoo. So I've actually haven't made this from scratch before either, so I'm sure the taste of this will make a big difference. So I'm going to add in 50 grams because we don't like to have too much chili. So this curry paste lasts for 2 to 3 weeks in the fridge. So if you eat a lot of Thai food, you probably would use it all the recipe in 2 to 3 weeks. But if not, you can just pop it in the freezer, pop it in an ice cube mold, and then you've got it ready to go for whenever you need to use it. So I'm just going to pop that on, pop the lid on, and that's going to saute there for 3 minutes at speed 1. And when that's sauteing, I just want to tell you about a little hack that I want to try today for the first time, which is cooking rice in the Thermoserver. So this is the Thermoserver. This is the 2.6 round liter Thermoserver. And so I learned this from another consultant, that you can actually cook rice in the Thermoserver. So that'll save a lot of time. I don't have a rice cooker. So instead of cooking the rice before or after the curry in the Thermomix. I'm going to do it in the Thermoserver instead. So I've already added some boiling water just to heat it up. So what I'm going to do is use that hot water just to give this I've already rinsed the basmati rice. So I'm just going to rinse that with that hot water. Just going to be off screen for a second, just to get the hot water all through the rice.
I'm not sure if anyone else has done this before, but Susie reached out to me when she saw a consultant do it online yesterday. And I said, I've never seen it before, but I know that consultant. She's in Brisbane and she's very good. So I do trust her. So this is our first time doing this today. And we were both saying, what a game changer if your rice can be cooking in your Thermoserver next to your Thermomix while your curry's cooking.
So yeah, I did have the base underneath, and I did have hot boiling water in it just to have it, the Thermoserver bowl nice and warm. And I've just boiled the kettle, so I'm just going to add in. The water and have that covering the rice in the simmering basket. Have it coming up over quite a few centimeters on top of the rice. I'm just going to pop the lid on now. Sorry, my 4-year-old has decided to join this. So the important thing with this method is after you put the lid on, you just leave it for 20 minutes because it's the absorption method. So don't take the lid off, just put something on top to, because knowing my family, someone will come along and take the lid off. So just make sure to leave the lid on. And yeah, so when my curry is cooked, I'll have the rice cooked in here at the same time. I'm looking forward to trying that later on. So the onions are just finishing sauteing now. I'm just going to move on to the next step. Well, another thing about this dish is you can do a vegetarian version. You can just add in vegetables of your choice instead of chicken later on. And it's actually also it's actually gluten-free as well. So if you've got any allergies to cater for, it's a really good dish too. And also dairy-free because we're using coconut milk to make it creamy. So yeah, great for people who are lactose intolerant as well.
Okay, there was a question in the chat about where this recipe came from. So I know Susie, you might be able to detect Susie's accent there. So she spends a lot of time looking at the UK platform, and this does come from the UK basic cookbook, this recipe.
Yes, actually, I realised that because I saw on the tips, when you go into the tips, it actually mentions vegetables and it said to use courgettes. And obviously, in the UK and in Ireland, we call zucchini, we call them courgettes. So that's when I realised that it was from the UK Cookidoo platform. So this is just the I am, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the premium coconut milk. I'm just adding in 200 grams, which is, yeah, just a tiny bit left in the tin. So I might as well just add it all in. I'm all about reducing waste. And 200 grams of water.
I bet that smells amazing, Susie, with that
actually, yes.
onions being fried together.
Yep. Yeah, my husband was very happy. He loves Thai food, and we've got lemongrass in the garden, which I use to make the paste. So he was pretty happy about that. So he's looking forward to trying that as well.
Is this the first time you've made this recipe, Susie?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah.
So this is how
I've made the one. There's another chicken Thai curry in the basic cookbook in the Cookidoo Australia. I've done that one, but there's a few more steps to that one. So I decided, Michelle, that we'd give this one a go because for demonstration purposes, this is probably, well, obviously it's quicker and less steps. So
perfect.
It's interesting to see how it compares, but the way it smells at the moment, I'm sure it'll be delicious. So the next step is just to add in the 400 grams of waxy potatoes peeled and cut into bite-sized pieces. And 100 grams of carrots, roughly 100 grams. I just have 2 carrots there in bite-sized pieces as well. That's 15 grams of fish sauce. So I haven't pre-weighed this, but 15 grams. I went a little bit over, but that's okay. 2 teaspoons of sugar. Just going to grab a spoon. And 2 to 3 kaffir lime leaves. So I actually forgot to get the lime leaves, but that's okay. I've got a little bit of doTERRA lime oil, so I'm just adding a couple of little drops of that just to add a little bit of extra lime flavor.
Well, that's a good tip, Susie.
Yeah. I always forget something, Michelle. So that's the beauty of guided cooking. You can always adapt it.
Well, not only that, but in the current environment, you know, we don't want to go out any more than we have to. So I think we've all become very good at substituting as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I've been getting my groceries for the last couple of weeks, mainly from Woolies online for getting it delivered. And yeah, so I forgot about them. I actually meant to pop down to my local fruit and veg shop to get the kaffir lime leaves, and I forgot about it this morning. So sorry about that. So this will saute for, this will cook for 12 minutes. And the next step is, because I'll be off screen, I just want to show you in recipe detail. You can scroll down and see the next step, which is just to add in the chicken. So actually, so chicken breast is recommended in the recipe. I didn't have chicken breast, so I'm using chicken thighs, which I know I've cut it into quite small pieces, and I know that'll work really well too. And to add in some green peas as well. I've got broccoli, don't have green peas, so I'm going to add that in 12 minutes at the same time as the chicken. So I'll be doing that off screen. So that'll cook away there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Susie. So that really, now you've done that, that's sort of a 20-minute dish that'll be ready. So well, your rice is 20 minutes and your chicken and all of that's another 20 minutes, and then it's all ready at the same time.
Yep, I'll have the rice ready as well. So
awesome. We look forward to seeing that at the end. Thank you. We're going to pop over to the gorgeous Linda. Oh, there she is. Hi, Linda.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my compact kitchen. Yeah. So today I'm doing vegetable soup, and I was looking at the recipe and I saw in tips and tricks down here that you can actually, before step 1, you can saute the onion and the garlic before doing it. So I prefer mine sauteed, so I've already done it. You saw how easily Julie cut the onions, but I've done celery instead because of allergies in my house to onions, therefore we use celery. So that's all done. So, and now I'll just start cooking with the rest of it. So 300 grams of potatoes cut in. So there we go. Yeah, that's enough. That's about it, right? Okay, 1 fresh tomato cut in halves. So tomato, fairly self-explanatory. So we've got the celery we've already done, so skip this step, as well as the garlic. And then 400 grams of mixed veggies. It suggested turnips and leeks and other things. I basically just had a look what was in my crisper, and stuff that was looking like it needed to be used has gone in here. I found half a zucchini. I don't even know what I used the other half for. So yeah, so that's 400 grams of all the veggies. I was going to say that you wouldn't read about it exactly. Yeah, you would. There you go. Next, and then I did jive out, and same as Julie, it's yeah, okay, I was a bit nice today. I actually did just use the leaves and threw out the stalks, but usually stalks go in as well. They've got flavour. The only stalks I don't use is in rosemary because they're a bit woody. And then veggie stock paste, liquid gold. So yeah, in there. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, and then 600 of water. Yeah. See how accurate I was measuring. Obviously, at this stage, you could add in more water if you wanted to make it a bit of a thinner soup. We both prefer our soups a bit chunky. So, there you go. Done. Then, now, that's basically it, because it now cooks for 25 minutes. So, bang. This is our dinner tonight. So I'll just tell my partner that now that this is dinner. Yes. So now we go to speed 1 and we're done.
Don't upset the cameraman, Linda.
I know. He's fine.
He's fine. I tell you what, I don't think anyone would
get
be,
other stuff.
yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone would be unhappy with that soup. It's such a delicious, easy go-to. I think you'll really enjoy it tonight, because I think this is the first time you've made that one too, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 So we talked before about.
And I just love the fact that I got to clean out my crisper.
Exactly. It's the perfect soup for that. And that's how confident we all are with Cookidoo, is that we can make things we've never made before and know that they're going to work out fine. The other thing you will have noticed today is that Milan, talking about sugar stages, was saying you need to be very specific with the quantities, whereas with all of our other guided cooking recipes, you're in control. So it is a guided recipe. If you want to put a bit of extra something, as Linda said, more water, less water, more veggies, you're totally in control. So you've got lots of options there. Lovely. Now we're going to pop over to the lovely Denise. Thank you so much, Linda. We'll be back with you to see your soup shortly. Hey, Dee.
Hi, everybody. So good to see you all again today. I took the day off last weekend for my daughter's 18th birthday, so it's really great to be back with you live from my kitchen in Mentone. So I'm going to be doing this is the beginning of a slow cook recipe, and you're going to see the results of it before the end of our cooking experience today with the magic of Zoom and all these people doing all the different dishes. So let's just jump straight into it. Slow cooking is such an amazing thing to be able to do. And our Thermomixes, we normally think about them making everything really fast and quick and easy, but we can also be slow and easy. And a lot of us during lockdown last year, we've been juggling home-based businesses, working from home, kids, and we try and do everything, like we show up in for our kids often in between the minutes where we're working, but we do the other way around with Thermomix. And Thermomix can actually show up cooking in the minutes in between the rest of your life, or the other things that keep you busy. So let's start with this beautiful beef brisket chili con carne. Got my little sign there. And some people ask about the decorations on top of my sign. This is every morning when my daughter washes her piece of fruit for school, she puts the little sticker there. And so we can count how often she's eating fruit, which is actually a really good thing. All right, so let's start cooking. Now, this actually, we start with a big piece of beef brisket, which is just sitting here. And basically it asks you to weigh it. Mine's actually a little big. Actually I was supposed to cut this, so I'm going to do that after I've actually put the spice rub on here. But we get the beef brisket, and what's so great about using beef is a beef brisket is that it's just a really great cheap cut of meat that's got a lot of nutrition in it. They're easy to find, and just really simple to cook with. And you don't kind of have to worry about spoiling it. It's not a $150 piece of Wagyu beef or anything like that. So all of these spices that we're going to put on it, I've just got them all arranged here, and you can pop them all in separately, of course, but basically going clockwise. I think I started here. I've got my oregano, the smoked paprika, a couple of teaspoons of ground cumin, ground coriander, cayenne pepper. Anything is optional if you want to leave it out, of course. And then some salt and black pepper. Massage all of this into the beef. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just throw all of this onto the top of the beef, which I will, after I've massaged this in, I'm going to chop it up. later off screen. So this is why I've got gloves on. So you could do this, of course, you know, just with your bare hands, but just so that can move on to another thing without having to wash in between, I'm just going to go all over, because remember, this actually does have cayenne pepper in it as well. So I want to make sure that I don't get any of that chili and pepper, you know, into my eyes, or, you know, or anything else that I might be touching. So it's actually just really satisfying. I can tell you how this feels, actually, guys. Just, you know, rubbing this into a beautiful piece of meat like this, it actually feels really, really nice. So that is going to sit there and start to absorb some of those flavors. And what I'm going to do now is whip these off and then come back to the Thermomix. Alrighty, so we set that aside, and then we start in with the flavorings that are going to go into the chili. So I love coriander. Now, some people love it and some people hate it. You could certainly leave it out, but it is a great flavor that is often found in Mexican style cooking. And we've been talking about using the whole herb plant today. And I think it might have been, was it Milan who said, no, was it Milan? Who said that they use stalks for everything except the rosemary because it's really woody. So the coriander stalk is just the most amazing flavor. And for those of you who may have made curry paste, you might have actually also used the root. Now, this recipe asked for the root as well. So it says here, 20 grams of fresh coriander roots and stalks, leaves are reserved for the garnishing. So we're going to keep that back. And in the tips, it actually says to you to clean off these roots a little bit. So I've done my others, but I thought I would just show you how I do it. So I use a little sharp knife and I just get rid of any like the big knobby bits. And these actually usually have a lot of spindly legs that I've already taken off. So you get it like that. And then using a spoon, you can just basically get the outer skin, which is very fibrous, just off that root like that. Just take that off, and then you're going to end up with just a nicer product at the end of the day. So just clean the root like that, okay? So then what we do is we basically put these bad boys into here. Chop them up and get them into there. Probably don't even need to chop those. I can probably just do these ones. We like it rustic. There we go. And in they all go. Alrighty, now we're going to insert the lid. Now, if I was to chop all of that finely by hand, that would take me ages. So here we go. The magic of Thermomix, 3 seconds out at 7,000 revs. There we go. Let's have a look at that. Wow, that's beautiful, Eliza. Look in the bowl there. Thank you to my camera woman. She's amazing. Wow. I just could not do that in 3 seconds. Probably couldn't do that in 3 minutes, honestly. All right, so transfer back into this bowl. So I'm just going to, with this gorgeous spatula that comes with your Thermomix, which I maybe mentioned that they come with everything that you need, all the accessories that you need to make the magic happen, it comes with. All right, so we want to get that out, and we're going to pop this flavoring back in further in the recipe. And just a little hint for those of you who are lifting things, transferring in and out of the bowl all the time, is we often pick up the bowl like this. And for years, I was tipping things out of the bowl. I was tipping things out of the bowl with holding the handle here. But what happens is my elbow ends up in the sky and my arms getting really tired. So if you're going to be tipping out of the bowl, grab your bowl here, and then you end up in a much more comfortable arm position like that. Tell you what, that changed my life when I learned that little tip. There we go. Awesome. And you don't have to clean out everything scrupulously. You know, I love how Julie just goes, it says to clean the bowl, but I don't. And let's go. Okay. So we're all about just making it super, super convenient and fast, even though this recipe is slow, which is the miracle of Thermomix. So 20 grams of olive oil. We're going to go into a high heat mode here soon, which is super cool, and it's one of the new features of our Thermomix. Now, it's asking for red onion, and we're also going to have a little bit of optional chili in here. So the high heat mode is one of the only modes where you have to be fairly spot on with your measurements. So guided cooking and any kind of cooking here, you can leave out your onion. And I love how Julie just doubles the garlic in everything that she cooks. But with high heat, it actually remeasures what you put into the bowl. It weighs it to make sure that you've got exactly the right amount, because when we apply 160 degrees to the food, if there was less, it will burn. So it's one of the safety features and the incredible smarts that live inside the Thermomix, that it perceives what is in the bowl. So for 200 grams of red onion, this is about 205. I've been quite precise with it. So in that goes, and it's, there you go, 206. That's pretty cool. Next thing, I measured it on my other Thermomix. So they're all in there as wedges. And normally we put onion in when we're going to saute it or chop it. We often, in our other machines, chop it first and then saute the very small pieces. But with high heat, we can saute them in wedges and then hold them whole like that going into the next dish, or we can then chop them if we want to, make them small and put them on a hot dog or something. Alrighty, so the fresh jalapeno chili. Now, I bought these. My husband thinks it's going to be fantastic. I'm not really sure whether my kids are going to end up eating this dish, so I'm optionally putting in just one, not the two, and I've taken out the seeds. So in they go. That is optional, guys. Optional. All right. So the magic of the TM6. Here we go into high heat function now. We love the safety of our Thermomixes. Using the high heat function means we have an extra safety barrier in place to make sure that no splashing oil can get up into our faces, or someone doesn't get curious and take off the MC and have a look in there. We don't want that when we've got hot oil splashing around. So the safety screen goes on. It's called the splash guard, faces to the front, and it gets grabbed and held on by the robotic arms. So I confirm that I have done that. And then I've got 10 minutes of high heat cooking. So I just flick that dial and basically the mode takes care of itself. The first thing that it does, you can hear here, is it starts and turns the blade and then it stops. And it's flicking it around and it's weighing and it's going, is there onion in there? Yep. 200 grams. Yep. And is there oil in there? Yep, there's a in there as well. And now, and that's starting come up, and within maybe even just seconds start to turn on, which basically I need my pan, well, not for as many things ever as I used to. So here are seconds. So it's super fun and amazing. And I think Michelle mentioned at the beginning, with a lot of the dishes, you might just make a part of the dish. You don't have to make the whole dish, but you might make that toffee sauce. And in fact, last week for Eliza's birthday party, which didn't happen, I was going to make all these little sauce.
Oh, we lost her. Well, I tell you what, Denise actually made some amazing things for her daughter's birthday last week. So we'll have to, I think her Facebook page is Thermo Days if you want to see the amazing birthday cake she made. But anyway, I believe, so we're with time here. Milan has got 3 minutes on her toffee. So what I wanted to show you in that time is, I'm going to spin you around because these puddings have finished cooking and I have not made these before either, I might add. I have steamed puddings before, but have a look at what I've got happening here. I'm so excited. My family are beside themselves. I'm like, go away, I haven't finished yet. So what I'm going to do now is make the toffee sauce. So I just thought I'd show you, so I can go, there's a few different ways you can access recipes. I'm just going to go into recently cooked. If I'd never made it before, I could type in sticky toffee pudding or sticky date pudding in Cookidoo and it would come up with. So here's my recently cooked. I'm going to put restart just so you guys can see what that looks like. So when you go into a recipe to start with, you can go down the bottom here. There's an arrow to go down. It gives you all the information that you need. So level of difficulty, your prep time, your total time, and your serving size. Now, I've actually made more than 8 muffins because I've made them a bit smaller. So, so I've got 13 little puddings here. And it gives you all your ingredients down the side, your preparation that you need to do. And then I think Linda before referred to hints and tips. So if you have a look at this, there's all different tips to do with the recipe. So they all have different, there might be variations, it might be a different tip on a different ingredient to substitute or how to serve it. And then you've also got this nutritional value down the left-hand side there. So for someone who's monitoring
you know, their carb intake or their protein intake or anything like that, you've got that information there as well. Now, the other thing that you can do with this is that you don't need to start right at the top. And for those who've already got a TM6, if you had already halfway through a recipe, you don't need to go next to find that spot. What you can do is I can go here, I want to make my sticky toffee sauce. So I can actually go straight to step 3 and it's going to take me in there. Now I'm just going to pause and just see if Milan is ready.
Yes, Michelle, I've got about 30 seconds to go.
All right, well, why don't we pop to you
Okay.
and you can chat for a second and then
Absolutely. I'll show you while my Thermomix is on the other end. I'll grab it. This is the tray we're going to pour it in. So the concept is to put everything in here and then wash the jug with vinegar and water. So all the toffee and the sugar work comes out. And then what I do is I get this brown paper, cut it like so. Okay, it's done.
So with the sugar work, you need to act quickly because otherwise it will actually set in the bottom of the jug. So
That's right.
this is why
So
we're just going.
Have a look,
slow.
guys, how gorgeous that looks.
Yum.
It is absolutely divine. And what we're going to do after this is in about 5 minutes or so, once it's cooled down a little bit, we're going to sprinkle some salt on it, some sea salt or Celtic salt or Himalayan salt. I don't put either because I like it as is. And once this is done, I'll just continue and show you. Give me 1 second to put that in hot water. So this is what it looks like in the tray. And you're going to just leave it in the tray for 35 minutes. It's yum. I'll come back to how we were cutting this. So very simply, we get one of these guys, like so. Cut it in 3 pieces. And these are the lollies I prepared. Yes. Oh, then what we do is once the tray is done, I take this mezzaluna and I just cut them that way, and then I go that way, and then you get these cute little babies here, as you can see them. And then I put these little babies in this wrapper. And then I do this to it and your lolly is ready. Let me just show you another one.
These remind me of my childhood, and there was a lollies. They used to be called mates or cobbers, and they were little toffees covered in chocolate. And you could actually cover these in chocolate as well.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
that's a clever way to, if you're doing gifts and things, to have them. I love it.
Absolutely. And this is how I normally keep them because we make these lollies quite a lot in our house. So I always keep them that small. And who wants to see the real product? What it's going to look like? This is what we made yesterday, guys.
I love it, Milan.
So that's all we're going to do once the tray is cold in about 35 minutes, which is this one here. Very simply, we're just going to take it off here, put it on the board, and just cut it. You can cut it with your knife, but this is just easier on my carpal tunnel. So I do that. So guys, please make these lollies. They're absolutely amazing. They remind us of the, most Indians will relate to it as Indian lollies in India. Very, very simple. While you're sitting, watching TV, you can just wrap these up and don't eat them all in one hit. You just share it with people. The whole lot is going to Sydney, to my mother, who is addicted to it. She's got her thermi, but she's not game enough to make them yet. So the whole lot is going there. And this lot is mine.
That's
Over
why you
and
need
out, I love this particular dish, and guys, do make it. It's so easy to make. All you do is put the all the ingredients in the thermi, set it up for the sugar mode for about 25 minutes, and walk away. Come back, cut these little babies, and cut them beforehand so you don't have to waste time. And they are yum. Over and out for me, guys.
Thanks, Milan. Thank you so much.
All right.
Just for those who don't want to do wrappers, I just put mine in a Tupperware container and they're gone in about 24 hours. So it is a high risk thing to make. We actually joke with Thermomix because obviously Thermomix, is all about healthy eating. We're cooking from scratch, we're avoiding additives, we're doing all of that. but you can be evil with your Thermomix as well. So as long as you get that balance right, it's okay. So I'm
Right,
going
and
to
Michelle,
bring
somebody asked about the TM5. No, this is just a TM6 feature, which is a sugar mode. It is not in TM5.
Yeah, thanks, Milan.
No.
All right, I'm going to bring you quickly back here just to show you. I'm going to get my toffee sauce happening super quick. Oh, hang on a minute. I don't want a bowl with water in it, so I'm going to get my clean jug. Now, actually, I thought I'd quickly point out as well, I've lost my little button out of my jug. It probably fell out in the dishwasher. I've just ordered one from the service department. So if yours has fallen out, don't panic about that. Still use it. It works perfectly fine. But just get your consultant, or you can ring Thermomix directly and just say, I need a little button for my jug, and they'll post one out to you. So there we go. Just a little service announcement there. So in goes my butter. Now I'm actually doing a 1.5 batch of the toffee sauce because, let's be honest, that's one of those things where you always want more than what's there. So again, as we talked about today, when you're doing a guided cooking recipe, you can certainly play with those quantities. So that was the sugar that just went in. Now I've actually got golden syrup here. Now I didn't buy this. I had it in the pantry. However, there is a recipe on Cookidoo for golden syrup. So it's effectively just sugar and water, and it takes about 45 minutes. But it is one of those things where it's much cheaper to buy it than, to make it than buy it. So it is something that I'd recommend having a go at. And it's just so fun when you can put together all your little pantry staples and not have to buy those things. And that means you can also store it in a glass jar, because most golden syrup seems to come in plastic for some reason. And that's it. That's the ingredients. So milk and then a little bit of vanilla bean. Milan talked about this before. It's the big ones from Costco. Although I did actually notice the Aldi catalogue has it. I think they're going to have it this week. It's a smaller container, but in the tube, which does make it much easier to use. So that's how simple it is to put on a toffee sauce. And on goes the lid. So just follow the bouncing ball. One of the things that we say with Thermomix, and those who've been here before will have heard me say this lots of times, you don't need to know how to cook, you just need to know how to read. Pop the measuring cap in. Now, a couple of compatibility questions. If you do have a TM5, you'll notice that I'm picking up my lid and the measuring cup's not falling out. This measuring cup is compatible with the TM5 lid. It is the same lid. But some of the recipes we've done today have been TM6 specific, just because we've been asked about, well, what's the difference and why would I get a TM6 over, upgrade from a TM31 or a TM5? So these are the things that we wanted to show people. And those people with TM6s have been asking us a lot about slow cooking and sugar work and those things. So we wanted to try and do something for everyone. So here we go. And now I'm just going to pop that on, speed 2 for 7 minutes. So while that does that, we can now pop over to, what are we going to next? Are we going back to Denise now, or are you ready, Denise?
I'm here.
You're ready? Beautiful.
I'm here.
Go back to Denise.
Okay, guys, sorry about that before. Wow, real kitchens. That didn't happen to Jamie Oliver when I was watching him this morning doing his slow cooked beef stew with potato gratin over the top. So sorry about that, but here we are. Okay, we're back. Michelle was mentioning before that all the amazing things that you can cook in your Thermomixes. I was going to pick off all the little sauce recipes out of Cookidoo to do a beautiful meringue pavlova grazing plate, but I ended up, we obviously had to cancel the party. So, but I ended up doing something really special for her anyway, which Michelle mentioned, and then left. So I thought you guys might like to see it. But this was actually it was just a small icing graduate, as well as the colors of the cake. And that way, I do have a little bit of experience cake baking, but there was nothing particularly hard about that if you watch the video. And it's really, you just give it a go. Just give it a go. It's fun and it looks amazing, and people will, just appreciate.
Denise, it was unbelievable. It was so yummy. Luckily, I had the click and collect offer here, so I got to taste it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Milan lives really close to me, so she did. She dropped past and got it off my.
I do believe it was a contactless delivery.
Right.
It is contactless delivery, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think Denise is having some tech issues today. I know she commented that Jamie Oliver doesn't have these, but I have to say I've been watching the news and so many of the people that they're interviewing and talking to on the news are having tech issues, and I kind of laugh and go, well, we're just mums in our kitchen. So, you know, if they've got all the technology they've got and they drop out, you know, I think we're doing okay.
We're going to now put the lid.
Let's go back.
Oh my God.
Have we
All
got?
right.
I'm back. Let's get going while I'm still here. Okay.
Oh, you're
So,
sideways.
I'm back. Oh, sideways. I'm sideways. You have to tip me up. This
Oh,
way.
you're
Oh, there we go.
drinking.
Thank goodness I have a live camera woman. All right. So the measuring cup's gone in, and then we're actually going to do a little chop on this. Look, a 3-second chop on the beautifully cooked onion, and it's got body to it, so it doesn't, you know, go to, watch, here it goes. Fantastic. And we can chop even while the bowl is hot. It's just, gosh, everything about the Thermomix is so incredible. Okay, let's have a look in there, Lala. That's so fantastic. Now, in goes the my capsicums here, de-seeded and around about 180 grams. If you take off the lid and you've already gone to the weighing function, remember to tear that back. So here we go with all of the other ingredients, chili con carne. About 180 grams also. A couple of teaspoons of cocoa powder, whatever brand you love. I'm using the Bourneville this morning. So 2 teaspoons of that. I'm not closely measuring that. Who needs? There we go. Around about 2 teaspoons. A tablespoon of red wine vinegar. I actually have white wine vinegar. You could put just about it. You could probably put rice wine vinegar in here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, or one of our Asian colleagues who know the flavors. But really, it's about getting the vinegar in there. Because we're doing a long cook, what we need is something in the bowl that's going to give that acidity so that we don't get any rust. So when we have long cooks, we need a little bit of acidity in the bowl, which can also be lemon juice. Seriously, you could just do that. And those of you who cook long-term overnight yogurt will know that we add lemon as well to the bowl. All right, here come the canned tomatoes. You could put in chopped up fresh tomatoes. You could put in passata if you didn't have any of this. I honestly even contemplated putting in a jar of taco sauce, like pre-done taco sauce, because I happen to have one there, or as an enchilada sauce. You could use anything that you've got. Alrighty, and a teaspoon of instant granulated coffee. I had to really wonder whether I had any of this because I've got a coffee machine now, but I did find that I had some, which was lucky. And then we're going to add back the beautiful spiced beef, which I have now cut up. All right, so all of this going in on top. And you can see how large the pieces are. It says for a 4-centimeter piece. We do know that as meat gets to the point where it's really well cooked, it starts to disintegrate. And that's what we want. We want this to break down and start to get really, I think the word that Jamie Oliver used this morning was unctuous, really unctuous with all of its beautiful sauce in there. And these pieces will end up becoming quite small and then start to flake, which would be just sensational. I can't wait to have it tomorrow. Stir with the aid of the spatula. We want to get a bit of that liquid on top and around all those beautiful pieces of meat. Sometimes I find when I have to stir to the bottom of the bowl, this is not the best spatula for it, because this actually sort of stops you from getting, you know, right down deep, with a purpose in mind, of course. But there are a lot of beautiful spatula options in the mix shop that have that long telescopic handle. So there we go. We've got all of that nicely mixed, and then we're going to put on our lid and measuring cup again. And then the beauty of the slow cook, 6.5 hours of cooking time, and all I do is flick this beautiful little dial. Oh my gosh, that was so strenuous. Really, the most strenuous thing was my internet dropping out. So, but luckily, when you're cooking in a Thermomix, all the recipes that you use, that you save into your collections or into your week, they save down onto the hard drive of your TM6. So no matter whether your internet drops out or whether you've gone away, you know, to your holiday house or camping, if you could go away, or up to the country and you're offline, all of your recipes that you want are still on the machine. Right, there we go, we made it. without dropping out again.
Thanks so much, Denise.
Going to Olivia.
We're going to go
welcome.
to Olivia. So we're
Thanks for bearing
fast
with me.
forwarding 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding 6.5 hours to Olivia. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. I was going to say, if there's any other Brits on the show like me, then this is true Blue Peter style, where you say, and here's one I prepared earlier. And I can show you my beef brisket chili con carne that I actually cooked last night. I cooked it overnight, left it cooking. And then when I woke up this morning, it smelled good, looked pretty good, but I decided to cook it a little bit longer today. And I did that because I knew we would want to use the Thermomix this morning and do some other lockdown cooking. So I've got my Thermoserver here, and I'll literally just pour it in so you can see the finished product. So as Denise said, that meat is starting to break down. The only other extra step you do just before it's finished is you pop in a tin of kidney beans and those chopped up coriander roots. So there we go. There's the finished slow cooked beef brisket.
Yum.
It looks pretty good. So I'm quite pleased we'll be having that for our dinner, or probably an early dinner at this rate. And while I've got you here, I thought I'd show you a quick guacamole, which will go really nicely with this, and show you how easy that is in the Thermomix. So I'll just pop my beef brisket over here. And I'll grab my second bowl. So that's always handy to have. And bring it in to show you. So there's a few different guacamole recipes on Cookidoo. I've made this one before and it's pretty good. It did make a lot, so I'm actually going to halve the recipe today because sadly we can't have any visitors, so it's just going to be myself and husband eating this. So to bring you in, so it's asked me first of all to put in 90 grams of onion. I'm just going to halve it, so I'll be about 45 grams. There we go, that'll do. A bit of chili, so I'm just putting in a little bit. I don't want it to be too spicy because my kids might have some as well. Next, some lime juice. I haven't got any limes, so I've got heaps of lemons from my tree, so I'm just going to sub in a lemon instead. So just remembering to halve everything. That's the only hard bit when you halve a recipe. Some salt. Right, squeaky.
That's a bit squeaky.
A bit of an oil or something, doesn't it?
That's funny.
Bit of olive oil. Next, some coriander. Obviously, if you're not a fan of coriander, you can leave it out, but I like a bit of coriander. And that's it. Pop the measuring cup and the lid on, and it's going to chop that for 5 seconds. So I'll just show you how it's chopped. So no sore eyes here, chopping onions and chili. And then next, it's asking me to add in some tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. So I've just chopped that in quarters. So that's one tomato, that's about 100 grams. Remembering to half again, and pop the lid back on for another 3 seconds. Show you. So look how beautiful that looks already. We haven't even got the avocado in, my favorite, and how good having cheap avocados at the moment. So
we have got them for like 80 something cents this week.
Amazing. I love avocados, so can't ever really get enough, can you? So I'm just scooping that in. This says 500 grams, which is about 2 or 3 avocados. So I'm halving it, and it's going to be about 1.5, I reckon. Yep, that'll do. I may as well use the rest of that. A bit more, never mind. Next, And it's going to mix for 5 seconds. And then the last step is just to adjust the seasoning to taste. So obviously you can add some salt and pepper if you like, but how quick was that? Perfect guacamole ready to go with my chili con carne.
And are you going to serve that with rice or?
Yes, so I've actually part of what also helped having it cooked overnight was I used my Thermomix a bit earlier to cook some rice in the Thermomix. So that's sitting in another Thermoserver. And I'll dish up a bowl now and show you guys. So I was going to just serve it with some rice. I've got a bit of sour cream, the guacamole, and a bit of grated cheese.
Oh, yum. All right. Well, we'll have a look at everyone else's and we'll come back to you to see you all plated up in a few minutes. Thank you so much, Olivia. All righty, ladies. Let's pop back to Julie and have a look at her meatballs. Oh, hang on. Yeah, no?
No.
I'm pressing it, but it doesn't want to go.
It doesn't want to go to me. Let me see if I can do it.
There we go. It was a bit odd.
Technology. Well, this is my meatballs. Now, there's no ways of making meatball look good, but I can assure you it tastes super delicious. And I actually took 2 out to pop in the bowl because I'm pretty sure if I taste test this, it could be Carne and I'll end up burning myself. So I'll have a taste test. These are so good. So I'm going to serve mine with bread rolls tonight, but these are really good. So
yum, meatballs and crunchy bread. Yum.
I think so. Nothing beats crunchy bread, right?
It's such a quick, easy recipe, and what a great family meal as well.
Yes, definitely. Like, it's just so easy to think that, you know, you can have everything cooked in one pot and you can leave it cooking for 20 minutes and you can go off and, you know, whether you have a quick shower, like I said, you don't have to worry about stirring anything. Meatballs are steaming while the, you know, the sauce is cooking in the bowl.
Beautiful. It's also a great one that you can do in advance. So it reheats really well and it freezes really well. So people often ask us, you know, if you want to do a cook up on Sunday, you could make those Sunday for Tuesday or Wednesday night dinner or for the following week and pop them in the freezer for the week, and they defrost and reheat really well as well. So add it to your meal plan, people, for an easy option. Thank you so much, Julie.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty, let's go to Susie and have a look at her amazing curry. Oh, look at that.
Hey, Michelle. I'm blown away here. I couldn't wait. I had to have a taste and it just tastes amazing. And the other thing that I'm just gobsmacked about is the rice. The rice that I cooked in the Thermoserver. Hopefully you can see that. I used 250 grams of basmati rice and it's just perfect, like really fluffy, just really good, and so easy that you can just, that cooks away on the side, that you don't need to worry about cooking it separately. And hopefully you can see the curry. So I actually, so off screen, I added in, after 12 minutes, I added in the chicken thighs. And I added in broccoli florets instead of peas, which I think actually in our household, because I've got one kid who doesn't eat peas, but everyone eats broccoli. So this one will work out really well.
It's delicious.
It's amazing. It's I couldn't resist it. So I'm just going to have a little bit more.
We love a lot of taste.
There's the sauce with it as well. I just because I was a little bit over the 600 grams of chicken, I did add on, and it fit nicely in there. I did add on 2 minutes of cooking time, just because, well, I had time, and also because I'm always a little bit extra cautious with chicken, just to add a little bit of extra cooking time. But yeah, I'm just going to have a taste now. Absolutely beautiful. Highly, highly recommended.
Wow.
My husband's going to be very excited when he has this for dinner. This is his favorite. So better than anything you'd get in a restaurant, I reckon.
Oh, thank you so much, Sue. And thank you for being the person to test that rice theory for everybody, because I think that's going to be a game changer.
Oh, I'm so happy I did.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Susie. We're going to pop over to lovely Linda and have a look at her delicious soup. Hi, Linda.
Yes, I just didn't go to the next stage. So the soup is like that currently, which is, so now it gets blended up. So what you do here is you turn the speed selector, and it's actually going to, so you start at 5 and then you put it up slowly to 10.
Linda probably won't be able to talk while that's doing that, but what she's doing is that the Thermomix, for a safety point of view, it asks you to go to speed 5 first and then gradually go up to speed 10 for the blending. So now you saw that that was a, you know, sort of a chunky soup. So if you want a chunky soup, you leave it like that. But this particular one is a blended soup. So this is the same as if you were doing purees for baby foods, if you're doing a pumpkin soup. Restaurants use the Thermomix to do, you know, when you see really fancy dishes and it might say served with a celery puree or something like that. They'll often use it for those sort of things, or beetroot dips, things that are hard to make very smooth and nice in other appliances, and the Thermomix just does it beautifully from that perspective. One of the other things I thought I'd mention, because Susie, we were talking about Susie doing that recipe from the UK platform, you can now go into your profile on Cookidoo and, oh, there you go, she's ready, and change your profile to include other countries. So a lot of us have included all the English-speaking countries. So when we're searching, we get a much broader search. Sorry, Linda, back to you, darling. I was just chatting while you were blending.
It's very noisy, the blending. So basically now we have the soup.
Beautiful.
So I'm sure it looks a similar colour to that, but I'm sure it just would change colour depending what veggies are in your crisper.
It's perfect. Thank you so much, Linda. You'll have to let us know if Alex is happy with that for his dinner.
I certainly will, no problems.
Thanks for presenting today. All right,
That's
we'll
right. See you
back
guys.
to
Bye.
Thanks, Linda. Bye, hon. I'm going to pop back to the lovely Olivia. Just see her plated chili. Oh, yum.
You don't need me.
Chili con carne with the guacamole. I popped a bit of sour cream, rice, and a bit of bonus coriander. I'll just show you, as Denise was sort of saying, how the meat now starts falling apart. It almost could even go a little bit longer if you wanted to. But yeah, meat's starting to fall apart there, and it looks pretty good.
Well, I must admit, when we talked about this recipe yesterday, I got a bit of FOMO. So I went out and bought a bit of brisket, and I cooked mine overnight as well. And I just did it for the 8 hours because I figure I'm not going to get up in 6.5 hours. And it is just falling apart. So that's the beauty of it. If you're popping it on before you go to work for the day or overnight, you can pop it for 8 hours. And the flavors were still good, and it tastes like a Mexican restaurant.
It's really good.
Really authentic Mexican flavors, aren't they?
Yeah, and I didn't put the jalapeno chilies in because I thought maybe this would be one the kids could have as well. But actually, it's still got a bit of spice with the cayenne pepper and the other spices that you put in. So I'd say if you don't like really spicy, maybe leave the chilies out, but you'll still get a bit of spice in it.
Great tip. Beautiful. Well, enjoy that. We'll be having the same dinner tonight. I'm thinking that I'm going to do mine a bit like a poke bowl with some sort of corn and lettuce and cheese and maybe a bit of rice. So yeah, beautiful. I should have got you to make the full batch of guacamole and just picked some up. We're within the 5Ks of each other. Thanks, Olivia.
Thanks, everyone.
Beautiful. All right, I think we're coming back to me. Have we seen everybody's, we've been everywhere, so we're going to come back to me because my sauce is finished cooking and I've just been keeping it warm in the Thermoserver because I wanted to show you what I'm going to do with it now. So I've got this little thermo jug from the mix shop, and like our Thermoserver, it's just an insulated jug that's going to keep my Toffee sauce hot. So just, it's doing a little countdown there. Now I've popped, I'm going to tilt my camera for a second actually. So with the silicone trays, before you pull your things out, you just give it a little bit of a stretch. Now I did grease these, and then what you'll find is that your pudding will just pop out like that. Okay, So come back here. And here is my toffee sauce. Now, I think Denise mentioned earlier about the handle being ergonomic. So if you hold it like this, so if you find yourself, I have a little laugh at this, if you find yourself pouring out like this, like I'm a little teapot, pop it back down and just grab the handle at the bottom of the triangle. And now I'm just going to transfer my toffee sauce to my jug here. Beautiful. But also in the interest of plating a nice dish, here's one of my little puddings here. I'm just going to pour that on the top there. There's a reason I doubled the toffee recipe. And then, you know, we love a good ice cream scoop. I've got a little ice cream scoop and some thickened cream here, which I'm just going to place on the top. So there's my yummy dessert. I'm actually very excited about this. This is one of those things that I would order in a restaurant. Now I won't be able to do that again because I'll know that I can do it just as good, if not better. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just thought I would share with you that we have 2 amazing offers at the moment that you can choose from. So our offer this month with the purchase of a TM6 was a bread mat and a bread tin. So here's the bread tin with the lid, which means you can make a square loaf or you leave the lid off and have a sort of a high top loaf. And that also comes with this mat. Now this offer has actually, this was our July offer. It's been so popular that it's actually nearly sold out. So what they've done is brought the August offer forward this week. And then over the week, people will choose between the 2, which means this one should last till the end of the week. And then the August offer is Thermoserver, 2.6 litre round Thermoserver. So you've seen the girls use oval ones today, but you also got the round one here, which is what Susie cooked the rice in. Now, there's a couple of ways to get hold of one of these. Actually, before I go off on my tangent, you not only get that, but you also get this cookbook for free. This is our new cookbook, and there are some absolutely gorgeous recipes in this book. So the other ways to get hold of these things is you can host a cooking experience and you can access one of these for $30 as a thank you for hosting, or if someone at your cooking experience purchases, you can actually get one for free. The other thing you can do is if you are interested in joining my team for this month, we have a half price business kit. So for $62.50, part of your kit is a mat and a Thermoserver, plus a carry bag for your TM6 and all the other accessories you need to start a Thermomix business. So at $125, our business kit is actually excellent value. It's $340 worth of value, packed up at $125 as a gift for people who join the team. But this for this month only, because we know the second half of the year is so busy and we don't have enough consultants to service all the customers who want to buy a Thermomix, we've got a half price business kit so you can come in, do your training over the next couple of weeks and then hit the ground running as a Thermomix consultant. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. That is everything that we've presented. If you've got any questions, I know you've got my email address from the registration, so please feel free to ask me or of course your consultant. We have recorded today, so if you do want to have a look at the recording and make any notes from what you've heard, please reach out for that as well. But otherwise, we'd love to thank you. I want to thank all the girls who presented today, because I'm so lucky to work with them. We've all provided each other a lot of mental health support during these crazy times, but we will stay on if any of you would like to have a chat with us, or if anyone would like to join our team and come and be part of our little bit of crazy. So thanks everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully we all get out of lockdown on Tuesday night, but if we don't, look out because we'll be running another one for you anyway. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, bye.